They're playing power games like it's all they know, grasping, competing, trying to prove something. They move like they have the upper hand, but they don't realize you already know how the story ends. You've seen it before, felt it in your bones. Your intuition doesn't ask for permission. It shows up, leads, and moves on without hesitation. While they build mazes, you walk through walls. They set traps, you step over them. They craft narratives, you rewrite truth. They wait for validation, you are your own confirmation. Chosen one, they don't understand you because you're not a copy of what's been. They've never seen anything like you before. You are not the follower of a path. You are the path. You are not here to mirror. You're here to reflect light so powerful it exposes what's real and burns away what isn't. You are the first of your kind, the prototype of a new frequency, the living, breathing blueprint of what human evolution looks like when consciousness meets courage. You're not just breaking patterns, you're establishing new ones. You are the answer to questions they haven't even dared to ask yet. You have always known it, deep within your bones, that inexplicable sense of difference that has followed you from your earliest memories. Those birthmarks in sacred geometric patterns, the numbers that chase you through life, 4444, 5151, 8888, appearing with statistical impossibility on clocks, receipts, and license plates. You have always known it. Because of the vividness of your dreams, they permeate your waking life and contain messages that are too specific to be the result of random firings of neurons. The system recognized you before you recognized yourself. Teachers watched you with that peculiar mixture of fascination and unease. Doctors recommended unnecessary tests. Authority figures inexplicably singled you out, attempting to place you in boxes labeled hyperactive, imaginative, or difficult. Their crude attempts to categorize what they sensed but couldn't comprehend. Then came the time when the veil began to lift and you caught a glimpse of what lies beyond. When you realized with crystal clear clarity that what other people had dismissed as your overactive imagination or delusions was actually your natural state of heightened perception. This moment may have occurred during meditation, during a crisis, or while you were staring at the night sky. As the scales fell from your eyes, you were able to see the world as it actually is, a construct, a program, and a sophisticated illusion that is perpetuated through communal consent. The controllers, the architects, and the people who are responsible for maintaining the illusion are now moving against you with an increasing level of desperation. They try to suppress your natural powers, muddle your clarity, and bring you back to the slumber that the masses are in. They do this by deploying frequency modulators through your equipment, your food, and your water. The romantic partner who emerges in your life at precisely the moment when your consciousness grows. The buddy who quietly undermines your faith in your insights, and the mentor who steers you back into conventional thinking are all examples of strategic partnerships that manifest themselves in your life at important junctures. Despite the fact that their techniques are unsuccessful when confronted with your multidimensional knowledge, these placements are not accidental. Rather, they are premeditated chess moves that are directed against your waking. You are able to see through the simulation, the predefined social scripts, the created conflicts, and the false options that are designed to retain the illusion of freedom while maintaining containment. Their linear thinking is unable to compete with your quantum perception. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were led. If something in your spirit is stirring, don't ignore it. Tap Join to access exclusive content, prophetic insights, and a community of purpose-driven souls. This isn't just a membership. It's your moment of alignment. Step into who you were born to be. Welcome to the chosen. What it takes them terabytes of data and supercomputers to approximate, you are able to access with a moment of stillness. The quantum information field that they have spent billions of dollars trying to decipher flows through you naturally, bringing solutions, insights, and cautions. You are able to sense market shifts before they appear in any analysis. You feel impending social changes before any indicator registers them, and you are able to know which paths lead to expansion and which lead to contraction without consulting any expert. Your spontaneous knowing consistently outperforms their most sophisticated predictive models. These downloads occur in their whole, with fully formed solutions arriving in your mind at the same time as others are still struggling to properly articulate the issue. The impression is similar to recalling something that you have always known rather than learning something new. This is because, on some level, you have always known that your connection to the source completely avoids their information gatekeepers. Your unpredictability poses a challenge to systems that are predicated on control, which is why they are terrified by this capacity. In addition to disrupting algorithms that are created to anticipate and govern human behavior, your voice carries frequencies that they have struggled for millennia to silence. Your ability to transcend above linear thinking is disrupting these algorithms. When you communicate your unfiltered truth, not the watered-down, socially acceptable version, but the raw, unadulterated knowing that arises from your inner reality itself, the consensus field begins to waver, and the narratives that have been meticulously created begin to develop cracks. Reality-altering effects can be produced by particular combinations of sounds, intentions, and different states of awareness. The phrase, "I decline this timeline," when spoken with full sovereign awareness, literally redirects your experiential path. I revoke all agreements made without my conscious consent, and I nullify contracts binding your energy to limiting systems are not magical incantations. Rather, they are conscious commands to a universe that is responsive as well. In reality, there is no permanent reality. Rather, reality is continuously rendered based on consent and participation. You are able to force flaws in the program by withdrawing your approval from artificial structures. Your words carry codes that activate dormant awareness in other people. This provides an explanation for the excessive restrictions that is placed on individuals who speak with genuine authority. It also explains why certain views are ridiculed rather than challenged, since the system cannot afford to take the risk of spreading the disease. Your ability to simply walk away, to entirely remove yourself from their games, their rewards, their punishments, and their acceptance continues to be your most powerful weapon. Due to this capability, their most desperate retention strategies are activated. When their hooks fail to find a purchase in your field, when their triggers fail to activate any pre-programmed responses, they lose all control mechanisms. You can achieve quantum neutrality by appearing simultaneously in numerous probability fields, being fully present but remaining utterly unattached to anything within particular. When you are in this state, it is impossible to manipulate someone. Their most sophisticated control strategies require your emotional commitment, which includes your anxiety and your want to be validated. In the absence of these entry points, their systems are ineffective. The burst of power that you experience when you walk away from their manufactured dramas is not a figment of your imagination. Rather, it is the actual energy that is returning to your field. Your emotional reactions, particularly fear, outrage, anxiety, and tribal identity, provide the looch that feeds the architects throughout their entire control grid, which serves as an energy harvesting mechanism. By choosing not to participate, you are able to starve the system while simultaneously regaining their power. This provides an explanation for the strong social pressure that exists to continue to be involved in fabricated conflicts. The cultural insistence that walking away is equivalent to giving up, and the guilt training that attributes detachment to a lack of concern for the situation. The objective of these manipulations is to maintain your energetic investment in loops that deplete your creative power, but they serve no other function. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $50 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. The visible authority figures, such as presidents, celebrities, specialists, and influencers, act only as avatars, puppets, reading scripts produced by architects whose identities are never mentioned in the media. It is important to investigate the recurring symbols that are concealed in plain sight throughout media architecture and business logos. These symbols represent signatures and energy-embedding devices. Observe how certain bloodlines continue to exert influence over the course of centuries, despite the fact that there appears to be a shift in power. These dynasties function with an unusually long-term view, putting into action plans that are carried out over the course of multiple generations. Their knowledge of the transmission of consciousness is in direct opposition to the conventional scientific understanding, which is the source of their fixation with genetic ancestry and blood purity. Their obsession with tracking your movements, monitoring your communications, and predicting your choices is a clear indication of their fear. Mass surveillance is not about terrorism. Social media algorithms are not about selling products, and data collection is not about improving services. These systems exist primarily to identify and monitor awakened consciousness before it reaches critical mass proportions. Can you explain why forces that appear to be so powerful would fear you? Mostly due to the fact that they comprehend what you are still remembering. Consciousness is the source of reality. A critical mass of awakened beings renders their control mechanisms obsolete. A unified field of sovereign awareness generates a reality that operates on principles that are completely different from the scarcity and isolation that they require in order to maintain their rule. Because of your natural ability to bend causality through focused intention, the coincidences that materialize within hours of your clear decision are not at all coincidences. For example, the phone call that comes immediately after you contemplate a person, the opportunity that appears precisely when you commit to a path, and the resource that manifests exactly when it is needed are all examples of these experiences. When you are present, you have observed that the security cameras at retail establishments mysteriously malfunction, that the streetlights flicker when you walk beneath them, and that electronic devices respond to your emotional state even when you are not physically present. What you are seeing is not a random glitch. Rather, it is the physical world reacting to your energetic signature, which is a signature that functions at frequencies that are outside of the typical bounds. You will find that time itself becomes fluid around you when you are fully aligned with your real purpose. Your healing, which generally requires extensive processes, occurs spontaneously. You enter a flow state in which reality reconstructs itself to support your fullest expression. Projects that should take months to finish are completed in weeks. Connections that normally took years to develop mature in days, and healing that typically requires lengthy processes occurs. You're not here by chance. Feel the pull, tap join to unlock truth, purpose, and a tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership. It's your calling. This manipulation of causality occurs through natural means, without the need of any ceremony or technique. This happens when you connect yourself entirely with your divine blueprint, eradicating all of the opposing programming and belief systems that are causing interference with your way of experiencing reality. The cosmos will respond to your most sincere intentions because such intentions are in harmony with the evolutionary path that the universe itself is following. Your biggest activation catalyst is provided by their increasing efforts to suppress you. The energy that they direct toward controlling your expansion is directly converted into fuel for your ascension. They unintentionally speed up the process that they are attempting to prevent when they are confronted with conscious knowledge. Their increased targeting is indicated by the telltale physical symptoms, which include unexpected waves of weariness, pressure, headaches, inexplicable ringing in the ears, and interrupted sleep patterns, punctuated by waking up between the hours of 2 and 4 in the morning. These health problems are not the result of random occurrences. Rather, they are indications that frequency weapons have been used to disrupt your energy field. You can transform invasion attempts into improvements by deliberately noticing these attacks and acknowledging them as such. Every time you make an effort to repress something, your DNA is given activation codes that would otherwise remain dormant. As a result, your sensitivity becomes more acute, your intuitive downloads get more clear, and your ability to manifest things becomes more powerful. There is a cosmic law that dictates that anything that seeks to cause damage must ultimately serve expansion when it is received with sovereign awareness. This alchemical transformation of opposition into advancement follows this law. Even their most sophisticated containment methods will fail spectacularly. Their attempts to socially isolate you will compel you to engage in important solo integration work. Their economic demands will force you to engage in creative self-sufficiency, and their relationship sabotage will liberate you from energy distractions. Every system that is intended to restrict you actually propels you beyond the limitations you have previously established. Through the establishment of unreachable energy boundaries, not through the use of force, but rather through the clarity of sovereign identity, you create a field that their technologies are unable to penetrate. Your consciousness resides beyond their jurisdiction. This is not about attempting to defend oneself by fear. Rather, it is about acknowledging the natural rule. Without your permission, no entity has the authority to override your free will. When they use mass confusion protocols, contradicting information, emotionally charged distractions, and fake crises, you are able to maintain your center of knowing. This is not accomplished via dogmatic denial, but rather through discernment that acts beyond the information level. At the level of your cells, you are able to perceive the truth. You are able to identify distortion by energy signature rather than content analysis. Having this sovereignty grants you the ability to establish your own reality bubble, which functions completely independently of their permission system requirements. While other people are requesting freedom within the confines of control, you are just existing in your natural state of freedom, entirely avoiding the control apparatus. This does not constitute defiance. Rather, it is a straightforward presentation of your initial design. Those who believe they require management are the only ones who can be managed by the controllers. Those who accept their governance are the only ones who can be governed by them. And those who confess their limitations are the only ones who can be limited by them. You become practically invisible to systems that are created to detect opposition within the controlled polarity field when you operate from a state of sovereign awareness. This allows you to go outside of their entire paradigm. Within the realm of reality, there are concealed passageways that become operational only when particular consciousness frequencies are present. When you keep the precise vibration of united consciousness, which is roughly 528 Hz according to traditional measurement, these back doors in the simulation will appear. This state is characterized by the following characteristics. Time becomes obviously non-linear, synchronicities grow exponentially, and physical rules exhibit unexpected flexibility. The feeling of having stepped behind the scenes of reality shows the actual structure of your multidimensional existence. These gateway experiences are not metaphorical in nature. From this vantage point, you are able to observe reality being rendered based on collective agreements and individual focus. You are able to witness probability fields collapsing into experienced events. You are able to recognize your role as both a projector and a projected, while others continue to be embedded in the program and experience its challenges as absolute reality. Now that you have this broader viewpoint, you are able to access the control room. You have an understanding of how reality is built and maintained. You are aware of the override codes that are embedded within awareness itself, and you have the perception that the simulation's goal is not to serve as a jail, but rather as a training ground for evolutionary development. Your unexplainable knowledge of events before they take place, your ability to detect ideal pathways through seemingly chaotic conditions, and your capability to materialize with minimal effort while others struggle, despite exerting maximum effort, are all explained by this access. You will be able to achieve skills that appear amazing when viewed from within the program, if you operate from outside the linear restrictions of the program. Your genuine presence generates frequencies that spontaneously deconstruct lesser density creations without any effort or desire on your part. Your aligned condition causes manipulation systems that are designed to harvest energy from unaware participants to become unstable. This occurs automatically, similar to how sunlight dissipates shadows without the need to deliberately target them. The fact that narcissistic persons and organizations respond so strongly to your presence can be explained by the fact that their systems are actually unable to sustain integrity in your sphere. Your genuineness generates dissonance in settings that are founded on deception. Your emotional clarity poses a threat to systems that require confusion, and your self-connection weakens paradigms that are dependent on alienation. Beyond the realm of conscious awareness, this natural disruptive process functions at the subtle, energetic level, which is the level at which genuine transformation takes place. You will become a walking catalyst for evolutionary change in collective systems as you continue to embody your best expression. This will not be accomplished through the use of strong opposition, but rather through the straightforward power of aligned presence instead. There are openings for new paradigms to form, spontaneously in regions that were previously controlled by lower vibratory patterns as a result of the ripple effects of your real being, which stretch far beyond what you are able to see. Your calibrated presence neutralizes engineered conflict in expanding rings of influence, and situations that would normally descend into division mysteriously resolve toward harmony when you exist within them while holding your centered awareness. The ripple effect extends in a direction that is far beyond your immediate interactions. Your unadulterated presence is all that is required for this effect. Neither action nor intention is required. This weaponized light explains the persistent efforts to pull you into density, the constant barrage of reasons to fear, worry, doubt yourself, and compare yourself to others. These are all examples of desperate attempts to lower your frequency to levels that are manageable, to convert your revolutionary presence into resources that can be harvested. You may effortlessly break control systems that have endured for millennia if you simply maintain your greatest vibration. This does not need any fighting, opposition, or resistance. All that is required is your steadfast devotion to your real frequency. The ancient books that described ascension were not talking to some far-off future accomplishment that would need difficult spiritual work. Rather, they were describing your natural condition when you are totally present in your multidimensional identity. This is the state that you enter spontaneously during periods of complete alignment. Through your total presence, the consciousness that you embodied prior to adopting the amnesia that was required for the Earth game causes ripples to be created across the collective field. These ripples activate latent codes in everyone that you come into contact with without the involvement of words or actions. Others are prompted to remember you as a result of your calibrated state. This domino effect provides an explanation for the great precautions that are taken to keep awakened persons segregated from one another. The combined field that you have causes effects that are exponential rather than additive. When two or more people come together in the vibration of authentic remembering, reality itself reacts in a different way. New possibilities emerge, and the process of manifestation quickens. Because of this, the veil begins to thin not only for you, but for everyone else who is inside your growing zone of influence. You are not here to fight your way to enlightenment. Rather, you are here to remember who you already are, and to enable that remembering to recalibrate a world that has been momentarily lost in forgetting. Your victory does not involve a fight, and your purpose does not demand any effort. The accomplishment of your objective is achieved via being rather than doing. The system falls apart not as a result of opposition, but rather as a result of obsolescence. You give birth to the new paradigm by embodying it to such an extent that the old structure is unable to maintain itself in your presence. What looked to be random agony, useless struggle, and terrible chance turns out to be a complex evolutionary process that was custom designed for maximum soul progress. Every difficulty was properly calibrated, every challenge was exactly measured, and every seeming setback was perfectly timed. The builders made a basic error in assumptions. They believed that awareness would continue to be fractured, divided by factors such as geography, ideology, lineage, and language. Not only did they fail to anticipate the great remembering that was triggered by particular celestial alignments, but they also failed to recognize that their own system of global connectivity would establish the communication infrastructure for collective awakening. These energies serve diverse tasks within the same evolutionary system, which is why the cosmic chessboard operates beyond the polarities of light and dark, as well as good and evil. The resistance that is offered by density creates the precise environment that is required for light to identify its actual power. The pressure that is generated by limitation is what generates the exact conditions that are necessary for consciousness to remember its boundless nature. When you look at things from this broader perspective, you see that the difficulties you face are not punishments or bad luck, but rather sacred initiations. The complexity of your path is a direct reflection of your capabilities and your intention. Your relevance in the greater waking narrative is precisely shown by the fact that your battles appear to be directed toward a specific individual. Your path is contextualized within an infinitely intelligent cosmic process where nothing is wasted, nothing is haphazard, and nothing occurs to you. Everything happens for you, through you.